It's a weird one. I mean, if it was Luna against any traditional carry, I'd instantly go, you know what, Entity's got it. But because it's just like Lesh versus Luna, it's an IO Luna against Enigma. Yeah, I kind of, yeah, this could be the game where Luna actually looks okay. It looks good. So,
I don't want to hear
I mean,
okay. Like, you know, if you're a Gladiator
I don't want to
fan,
sugarcoat it, all right?
30 seconds to battle.
don't sugarcoat it. Give us the truth. That's what we're here for.
All right. You want the truth? Luna's pretty shit, all right? Okay, that's the truth, all right? But.
Did I lose you? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. There you are.
Oh God! See, I said one swear word, and production done me in. They tried removing me from the stream. I'm sorry, production. I won't say it again.
With T-Gov again. He is and Dota2 is taking some harass right off the bat, but runes have been scooped up here. So, what were you saying though about Luna? Luna's shit. And then what?
Yeah, oh, thank you. All right, Moxie, I can't hear you. Okay. Yeah, I think. No, but again, Luna's been a bit of a lost hero because traditionally it was picked to counter like the beefy offlaners. You'd win your lane, you'd rinse the jungle, and then you'd come out with like a BKB time with your team and you'd end the game. Ending the game has got a little bit harder now because teams naturally scrap a bit more. They have heroes that can take the fight a bit better. So this Luna carry of like last year has fallen off tremendously. So in this game, the reason why it looks good is because it is laning into an Enigma. The fact that you get the yeah, it is laning there. You get the wave clear into the Eidolons, and you're kind of cushioned for the rest of the game by the fact that your Underlord and Ember also can become carries. So it's not Luna versus the world in physical damage. All three cores can do it, buffed by the Venge as well. So this is like a very quirky way to bring Luna back into the meta to some degree. It also could just get run over by Enigma Lesh DK core. But still, I like the concept of Gladiators bringing a hero that wasn't too hot back into the game by kind of covering its weaknesses.
Feels minorly reminiscent of, you know, we saw like a lot of Gyrocopter for a while and they fell out of favor, and then you only see him occasionally getting like scooped up again if he's buffed up by something, whether it's an IO or, you know, you've got an Evoker or like an Ogre. We don't really see Ogre much anymore, but, you know, it definitely feels like this is a hero that needs a little bit of a steroid to be potent enough, but seems like they have a good idea of what they'd like to do over on Gladiators.
And again, we can see the classic Ace goes into the safe lane, Dota2 plays the off lane. I know Stellary tweeted earlier about Ace being the carry, and I think that was his phrasing. He meant more like carry him in the game rather than being a carry, but it does very much look like Ace does get kind of the priority in what lane he wants to go to on his these offlaners.
And we've seen what Ace is able to do at the major as well. Definitely one of those players that can make use of this extra little bit of TLC that he gets from his team.
Dire's courier has been killed.
There's a courier snipe though on Dota2, so it's gonna make things a little bit more difficult. But again, he does have Celery, he does have this IO who's gonna be able to, you know, supply him with at least that region that is necessary to keep him sustained here in the lane.
Yeah, and I was checking the build of Dota2. He in his pubs for Luna, and he is just doing like 2 points beam, 3 points aura. Then he goes for the glaives after, not even getting ultimate until like level 10 plus. So this is very much a laning style hero, in just trying to push out the lane, take the fight, and then eventually go jungle at, let's say, minute 8 plus.
Katomi doing a little bit of just reconnaissance on his own here. Teleport away. And Fishman's sitting a little low, has to be careful. They'll get their own due wards off, so a lot of this battle with the vision and making sure that camps are open or whatnot. It's such a weird taunt for Doom. I don't know.
There's so many weird taunts now, like the Luna taunt as well, some weird dance thing. Enigma's actually the best. I think Enigma's got the best taunt in the game.
Gallen's like, it's very annoying, very triggering.
We do need more dance taunts though. That is like the best thing about any battle pass, which is 100% coming tomorrow, by the way, confirmed by literally no one but myself saying it now for memes. Taunts are amazing, and that's what I look forward to in battle passes.
Chase is on over onto Fishman here, so they're giving off a couple clicks. Just gonna pull these creeps over to the side. Luna's got more important things to do right now. She wants to go hit these creeps, farm up. Doesn't have time to be chasing a silly little Pugna.
on my watch.
Pretty quiet game though so far here. About 4 minutes in, no first blood just yet. Just constant farming. And little mini trades.
This is kind of what you need from Gladiators over their heroes. It's Luna and Underlord are very static heroes where they kind of want to park up and farm. Sure, the supports might die on the flip side, as you see Tofu.
Oh, he's actually alive. 20-something hit points.
Nearly going down top. But yeah, the lineup of Gladiators is very much just sit in your lane, be a nuisance and hit creeps. And then eventually you'll group up with your one item each and make a play for a tower. It's more on Entity to try and make moves, be it from the Lesh having good lane. But also, they don't really make moves either. Yeah, we're actually in for a real static game for about 10-12 minutes, Moxie. I'm very sorry.
It's all right. I have you here to break it all down for me.
I tried to sell it like there would be moves.
You know, you can discuss, you know, the correct farming patterns, whether they're going to want to itemize, and that's why you're here, T.
Yes.
Well, you're not actually here, but you're here, you know. Neil and I are so alone.
On Monday.
It's just us
I'll be in the studio on Monday, guys. Don't worry. No more weird mic me. No, jokes aside, though, for Entity, they're the ones that can be a little bit more aggressive early on because they play around their DK ultimate a little bit better. They can play around Leshrac hitting towers and getting cheaper items and joining the fight earlier on. So it is on Entity right now. Even though the lanes look like Gladiators had more kind of fun in them, it's on Entity to be the ones that just to poke the towers a little bit. But if they poke them too hard, that's where the Ember, the Underlord, these heroes will be very good at defending objectives if they work in conjunction.
You see some of this rotation over to the mid lane. They have the dragon form that's up over on Stormstormer. It's about halfway done now. And making the moves. Tofu throwing out the Wave of Terror. Pressuring this mid tower pretty heavily right now. Tofu got the
This is kind of what you need to see with the DK lineup.
Well, especially with like a Pugna. Like, this is a full-on push strat, right? Like, you have to try to keep these towers intact, especially the mid tower. Very, very important, especially you've got a negative armor kind of strat coming out from the Gladiators. You want to be able to take advantage of that with Luna, be able to go and take Roche, but they have managed to keep the tower alive right now. They have a Cardi wave pushing in from Entity, but so far they've held off a bit.
Yeah, you got Venge and Ember, right? It's a very classic combination in regards to you Wave of Terror plus a Slight. Slight already does a stupid amount of damage. And then on top of that, you have the minus armor. You can defend objectives as two. And meanwhile, while that mid pressure was happening in bot lane, Dracho was chasing down the Enigma a little bit, trying to put some pressure, but still not really enough. And yeah, Toby, he's had a great time. What could have been a pretty okay lane for Luna didn't really happen. So Entity will be very happy that this bot lane's gone so well for them.
Top lane, they're putting the pressure on Ace, and that'll finally be our first blood at 7 minutes in.
Finally, oh my god, finally. Getting kind of bored, I'm joking. It's good that they got the kill top. But also, going back to Enigma, the really cool thing from Entity is the fact that they put their Enigma into the safe lane. So even if you're under pressure in a matchup that's not good for you, you're naturally closer to your own tower. So that chase down that Luna often needs in a lane to be good at, multiple Lucent Beams, getting the clicks. You're so close to your tier 1 safe lane tower that you're not really going to go down. As you see,
oh, Fishman?
Pugna, hold, does
they
go
got
down.
him, they got him.
But yeah, I think that was a really cool, nice little laning thing. It doesn't look too much on paper, but when you actually think about it, offlane Enigma against Luna is far weaker than a safe lane Enigma against Luna. So very cool from Entity.
It feels like they're hitting all their timings and their movements around the map right now. Finally managing to take down the mid tower. You're still getting, these levels over on your Enigma. And the top being pressured pretty heavily from the side of Entity with the Leshrac. So things falling into place right now.
Yeah, and this game for Entity, they're not really going to have these weird timings that they have to wait for, right? You see Toby, he's going straight for a Vessel. He's not trying to do anything crazy. The Vessel is to deal with the Io, whoever he tethers in that hill. He wants to mitigate that with the Vessel charge. You got the DK just going for a standard Blink Dagger. Leshrac going for most likely a Hood with another kill on Ace top. Like, they are really ramping up their lineup to be this almighty 13-minute kind of let's go take the fights, let's go kill them. They're not a lineup that's going to be hitting Rush anytime soon. So they need to take towers, they need to find kills, and they need their smokes to be super effective.
How should they try to correct here on the side of the Gladiators? Because they're having difficulty in a lot of these lanes now. They've lost the mid tower, they've lost Ace twice. They're trying to put some pressure down here in the bottom lane. Have to be careful though, because Enigma is here and he does have the black hole. He's more than happy to use it. In fact, there it is, but not the best black hole, unfortunately for Toby. You know, A+ for being, you know, excited to use it, wanting to use it, but not gonna pay off.
Balance in all things.
I'm like, yes, that happened. I mean, he tried going for the black hole. It looked very cool, but yeah, Remnant is very OP. For some reason, Ember can do a lot of things whilst under the effect of Remnant, and he dodges it out. Yeah, you asked the question before this fight broke out, and it was pretty much the answer. Gladiators, they needed to take the safe lane tower here so that they can break down the Radiant jungle and get themselves a piece of map to play. And you see here, nice little slight because of the Eidolons that last an eternity, and then he clicks the old Remnant, out he goes, and now poor old Entity are in a spot of bother. But yeah, no, taking this bottom tower, at least opening up the map, so when Entity take their triangle, or their jungle, sorry, Gladiators can at least respond by farming up the Radiant jungle. If they weren't to take this tower, you would just be seeing this kind of support push it out, poke it out, and Gladiators would really be constricted into only a quarter of the map. So they are right now playing for survival, it seems, and there isn't an item timing that I see from them that is going to allow them to take that great 5-on-5. It's really hoping that the Entity don't play as 5 right now if you're Gladiators.
I'm not sure how likely that's going to be with the way that they have been moving around the map, the way that they understand the way to poke and pressure. In fact, they have the double damage over on Stormstormer. And the Enigma can't do too much right now anyway, so he's just going to shove out that bottom area.
Yeah, at least for Gladiators, they do have an insurance policy. That is the triangle. It has been stacked up, you know, 3-4 times on both the Ancient and the hard camp. So right now, Duracho, after what the laning phase, it was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't a dominating performance, but it still keeps him in contention of top 3 core net worth. This triangle farming will be able to, you know, take him over the edge and somewhat get himself back in the game.
It's also very scary because now this DK has himself the Blink Dagger. I can only assume he's going to be going for the Fireball too, and that's going to make things a lot scarier for the squishier heroes over on the side of Gladiators, and they do have quite a few of those, honestly.
And this could potentially be the final Western European game where we get to see the Vlad upgrade, because of course the patch hitting tomorrow. Brave Pact could get nerfed into Oblivion. DK Fireball could get nerfed into Oblivion. So really enjoy this game for what it is. So it could be the last one.
I hope he was listening. I hope Stormstormer realizes his spree is going to be over soon with this DK if he's not careful.
He just tabbed in like 5 shards just to really enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
He only buys bum, but he tabbed in 5.
It's difficult over here because you see Tofu, he's trying to regain some control of this area, but it's very spooky when you consider the amount of Entity heroes that have just taken up residency. Stormstormer has just parked himself in the top lane. He's going to continuously push out here. Does have the Blink Dagger. He's got the Dragon form. Tofu does have to be very careful. Kataomi's going to get a nice reward.
Tofu's the sacrificial lamb of the Gladiators, where he'll sit top, he'll wave it down, and he'll get some XP. But pretty much he's hoping that they use a couple cores to jump him. Like, he would super be happy if like Storm revealed like the blink, or not revealed the blink, but at least used the blink on Tofu, because then it means that bot lane Duracho on the Luna can poke his head a little bit deeper into the jungle and go a little bit further.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now we have the Blink Dagger picked up. Yeah, for the Enigma here, which is that's very scary.
Because I mentioned that it was a vessel. Because he was super close to it, but then he realized that his team was already doing so well without him. He couldn't just go for a Blink Dagger, and now the DK, smoke up, gonna reveal, gonna fight, and now Toby reveals the Blink Dagger actually. So that's not gonna be a surprise to Gladiators. Potentially there was a window where it could be the DK initiates, and Toby's like, surprise! That vessel is now a Blink Dagger, bam, 2-3 man black hole. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen for Entity. We don't get to see that cool little wombo combo as Gladiators retreat very quickly after seeing that from Toby.
Definitely seems to be the smart move, considering that not a lot of people showing on the map for the side of Entity. And if they're not in that top lane where they were earlier, then they've got to be making moves towards your Luna.
Yeah, I think Entity right now they're looking for smoke up for sure. There's 4 heroes huddled up. There we go. They are respecting the tankiness of Gladiators, be it the Underlord, the IO, even the elusiveness of Ember. They need to find a kill. If they want to get their draft into a winning position, they need to get the ball rolling.
Looks like Ace is going to be the sacrifice here as they'll hold him into place and get a nice pick off. So that tankier hero over on the side of Gladiators not going to be available if they decide to keep going for this push as they invade the jungle area.
And that was a rare moment where Gladiators, often they're very well positioned for these windows of the game. No Venge, no Eye was ready to either swap defensively or to tether with a mech or relocate to save the Underlord there. They just weren't expecting what is meant to be your tanky hero on the map to get 100 to 0 so quickly.
Okay, all right, but they're going to make their own moves. They smoke up, make their way over towards, it looks like they want to go for this triangle where there's a little Shrek, but they're going to do a sweep right through over on the river.
On in.
Gonna run into Kataomi.
Surprise.
Loosen beam, yeah, that isn't really that big of a surprise. I don't know. They kind of sauntered their way over, but that's a nice pick off here for the side of Gladiators. Definitely necessary. Will make it a bit safer for these heroes to try to push out.
Key thing for Gladiators there was that smoke, sure you kill a Doom, but you get a high ground ward outside the Roshan pit now on the Radiant Triangle. This ward will allow Gladiators to understand who's aggressively farming. Can we now smoke to the other side of the map? Can we be cheeky and maybe poke the Stally? This in itself is the biggest win from this smoke outside of that kill.
And it has been very difficult for them to get this vision out there and cross over to the river. So, like you said, a very valuable ward to be placed.
Oof. All right. They're going to use the ward actually to try and sneak a Roshan. Wave of Terror, some right clicks and an overcharge.
This
Off we
feels
go,
very
but there's an
ambitious.
It's coming.
Yeah. They need to be very, very careful here. Yeah, they do have
So
Tofu.
slow.
Tower is under attack.
So they need a swap out. They have it available. They do have Doom, though, online. Gonna be the jump forward here from Stormer. Good swap here coming out from Tofu, buying them a little bit more time. They'll end up losing the Vengeful. And this Roche is sitting quite low. Drop Fireball on the ground. They want to go back in, but trying to find that angle here. It's looking to be a little bit scary. Boom continues to push. Is going to slight, push them back just a little bit. They ping out. They know that they've got those sentry wards down. Fishman going to top off Pure over here on the side. Continues to farm. They've interrupted the Roche. Question is, are they going to try to get back in? This Vengeful is going to be back up very quickly. And Doom is down.
The speed in which Entity throw down their sentries when they take a fight, they put down 3 sentries, instant D ward. They poke, they retreat. Like they really do play around vision really well.
Go for their own little sentry play over here. There it is. There's the. I always think it's their action slacks when I hear that. I don't know why.
I mean, every other word does sound like that from him, so that's fair.
That or gyrocopter. Fireball placed. They're playing this very slowly. Dota has to be careful. It's starting to get very low being around this Roche. You see the Isle sitting on the outside. Going for the Eclipse, wanting to just see if they can get this kill in time. Kataomi snatches up the Aegis as they'll follow up right to the black hole. Kataomi, he's still alive. No, finally, he will go down, but then the follow-up coming out, the Slight coming through from the Ember. They'll end up losing the Venge. They've got the Fiend's Gate up, but the rest of the team, they're hunting. They get off some nice chains, going to Slight forward here over onto Stormstormer. They need a little bit more damage. Chase is on. Good split Earth, though, coming out from Pure as he's just doing too much as the reload will drag back. Boom, he wants this kill. He's going to be able to go and grab it. As now the rest of the side of the Gladiators trying to close the distance, trying to get themselves something else as Kataomi next to die as we'll take over the area here of this triangle, but they ended up losing that Aegis.
Yeah, and if you're Gladiator, you're so happy with that, right? You got the perfect fight where you're able to not only use Underlord to prevent the contest of Roshan, because that perfectly placed pit and Firestorm we see here in the highlight. This pit, it forces Entity to trade good initiation for just jumping in to steal the Aegis, right? You now have 2 heroes going for it. Doom gets it, but in doing so, it's forced. Entity, it looked like a callback out. Like on pit, like, oh, but it didn't hit enough heroes. There still was 1 stun available, instant cancel. Ooh. And now Gladiators, they use that to keep going.
Yeah, they are indeed chasing after Fishman here, and he's trying to get that life drain. Fishman, though, they'll fall. The kill on Tofu.
Oh, no.
Tower will go down. Ace now, he just got back up and he's back down again. Haystream will get picked up though by Ember. Was doomed, but Thanks to Celery, he's still alive and kicking the tether over. Gonna try to run away as Stormstormer was looking for that follow-up, but won't be able to have vision.
I was just praising like the drawn-out fight from Gladiators, the poke, the weight, the mispositioning of Entity. We jumped from that highlight straight into another fight where Gladiators have like thrown all their bodies deep behind a tower. It's like, that's the opposite of what we just said, Chief. That ain't the one. So yeah, unfortunately for Gladiators, they got a bit happy and excited with the fight they just won, and yeah, the Entity's just ready to run it back at them. And now this Leshrac picked up a BKB. This is a Kaya Sanj BKB Leshrac, super ready to run into the middle of the fight, just press all the buttons and do all the damage.
Feels like this Luna has had a bit of an issue with finding the positioning within these fights. Celery doing the best he can, obviously. You know, he's trying to keep her alive, but they have a lot of just jump coming out from the side of Entity and a lot of burst.
It's super hard positioning because you need to respect the damage mitigation of Neverward. You don't want to stand idle in the Midnight Pulse, nor do you want to stand too close to your IO for the double black hole. You rely on your team to be ready to help you. Like, there's a lot of small checkboxes you have to tick to execute a clean fight from Gladiators, and that's where Entity they are kind of abusing it right now. They're utilizing that the unfortunate nature of the fights and making it a little bit messier for Gladiators. Once again, it feels like Entity just have Gladiators' number a little bit. Every smoke, we've not seen a perfect smoke right now from Gladiators. They're in like 2 games. Every time they've crossed the river, they've made to look for a move. They've either found a support, or they've kind of fallen into a big fight that they've eventually lost due to maybe buybacks or whatever. But the Entity, they've just really had a good read so far in these games.
Definitely feels like they have a solid. The Entity has a good identity. Well, that's a lot of bounty runes over there, but they have a very solid understanding of how they want to, play, how they want to move, their item timings. They're looking very good so far. This is the beginning of the DPC, so gotta be feeling pretty excited if you're an Entity fan. So go for a smoke play, wander through the river, and see who they can scoop up, because no one's home in the bottom area, that's for sure.
EKB on Ember. It's a brand new item there as well. That's a reveal.
Okay, it's gonna be Tofu who gets jumped on, so it's not the worst here going for Gladiators, but what is the worst is this black hole coming out from top. They already had the Doom up. They got Duracho, take down Ace, and Boom is now forced to pop the BKB and get himself out. Yeah, Celery wasn't able to go for that reload, unfortunately. As you can see, the tips getting dropped, and he is next to be dead.
Ooh. Again, just the way in which Entity sets up their fights, right? They've pushed out their lanes, their smoke, they know where exactly Gladiators are going to be. As they enter the smoke, enter the fight, they place the high ground ward, then get the vision. Enigma's then ready to double initiate. Like, you wait for your DK to open up the engagement, your Doom to open up the engagement, then you just catch the perfect jump of getting 2 cores. So yeah, Entity, they're playing this game just super methodically. And they're not rushing. You can feel the discipline in how they play to make sure that when they make a move, it feels like it's always going to convert successfully. Sure, there's some times where the enemy might make a better play or might outplay them in the moment, but like macro-wise, they are just feeling so comfortable in how they're moving right now.
Now, I'm not familiar. Does Entity have a coach currently?
I believe they picked up a new lad.
Okay.
And the new lad's name is...
Dire's top tower.
Damn it. That was for a different
not his
team.
name.
All right, I didn't have the answer. Hold on. No,
right.
They didn't pick up a new lad. They got an old lad.
An old lad?
Old lad, yeah. He is 29 years old, and I don't really know how to
that's
pronounce
not that
it.
old.
That's very old. That's ancient, some might say.
Just because you're a baby.
It's Metpum. I don't know how to pronounce it. The T's might be a different letter.
Okay.
But his name's Daniil. There you go.
Okay, interesting.
And he's been around with the team since the Creep Wave days. So
okay.
It's not a new lad. It is very much. He's been with the Creep Wave entity, be it Fishman, Crystallis, or ATF, that kind of group. And now it's been morphed into this team. So yes, they do have a coach. God, that could have been a much easier answer, Moxie, but I floundered. I really did. I floundered in the moment.
I'm glad that you got me the answer. At the end of the day, that's
I'm happy
what's
this
important.
is a cast, not a panel. If that was a panel, I've only got 20 seconds to speak, so that would have been me over. Career's done.
You're fine. Everything's fine. We got the correct answer eventually. I'm just curious
panic
because
after
if
this
it was
one.
someone new, like I feel like this entity, like the way that they're playing is just so much more focused than what we've seen before, right?
I think it helps that this team's been on boot camp for at least, I'd say maybe a week, maybe longer, honestly.
Okay.
But they have been boot camping and really kind of practicing for the season. Because again, the Tour 3, this is a tour where you got to make it to the major. You got to get at least, you know, top 2 or whatever to get enough points if you aren't even in top 12 contention, right? So for some teams that don't even have any DPC points to the name, this is a tour to make your kind of your mark in the scene and to try and get that kind of sneak in for the TI invite.
This is pretty exciting. A lot on the line, for sure. Entity just kind of grouping up together. They realize that there's strength in numbers. Just farming up this triangle area. And just making sure that the Gladiators can't crack into it. And can't get that vision down like they might like. Give the black hole
I
back
think
up.
if you're both teams again so postured, but yeah, for Luna to feel happy in this game, it honestly feels like Skadi Satanic kind of territory. All the drawn out fights.
We do have the nihilism now picked up too for this Shrek. Positioning going to be key here. They're grouped up very tightly. Do have to be careful as Pure chasing down. They've already used the jump over on the back line. It's chasing down Celery. It's just burning over here to the Shrek. They go for the swap because the Doom did get used over onto Boom. They'll end up losing Celery, so they're going to buy back. He wants to be back into the fight, but Tofu is going to be next. As they're just getting chipped down and burnt here. Back and forth. They need to finish off this Shrek, but they just don't seem to have quite enough damage. And they go for the black hole, grabbing over onto 3. They're stunned
Where's the
up.
follow-up?
They're taking the damage. The follow-up then Topi. Yes, all right. There's going to be a double kill coming out for Boom. A lot of buybacks happening during that from the Gladiators, though. An expensive fight. 10k net worth lead over on the side of Entity.
It's such an awkward fight. Like Entity, they started with this jump onto Vengeful Spirit, and it was the forcing Gladiators to never cleanly connect on any of their heroes. They don't have this cheaper lockdown. Bam, we got a highlight here, right? It's this, you got the initiation on the top, less cutting it deep, but for Gladiators, they have no way to kind of localize a fight. Entity can just freely run around and do what they want. So Gladiators, they got to retreat a little bit, then poke, they got to swap out, go back in. Luna eventually does die. But the best part of this highlight, and I'm really looking forward to it, if we wait in about 4 seconds time, it's a fat black hole we're about to see. And unfortunately, there's nowhere there, no one there. And this is the thing, finally Gladiators grouped up good enough for a black hole, but it was already, 40 seconds deep into the fight. So both teams, they got to be careful.
Gracia popping the BKBs, overcharged by Celery, but just have to be a bit careful. You can see Boom on the back lines, popping his own BKB, chasing down Kataomi. Should be a dead Doom. The chase is on. They have the... Okay, all right, the IO coming in. Gotta make sure that Luna can get out safely, as not looking so great here for Tofu. And that's a lot of damage being placed on the draw. Yeah, that's gonna be Fishman. And the follow-up here from Ace. He's been vesseled, and he's gonna try to do some more damage over to Stormstormer, but he's already popped his own BKB, so looks like he should be able to escape. As Entity's just gonna back off.
Absolute scrap in the mid lane.
It's funny
and I
because
think overall victors might actually be Gladiators here. Roshan is respawning as they walk into the pit. No, lads, poke your head back
they just
in.
missed
No,
it. They just missed it.
no. Oh,
Bigger fish to
So often
fry.
you
Maybe
see
hoping
that-
they can get
that's
this
a
little
rare one.
Shrek. Look, they're waiting patiently. Sidestep the split earth. Try to handle this little Shrek, hold him into place. He's popping his BKB. He can dish out a lot of damage with this Pulse Nova. Ace is trying to run away, trying to get out there fast enough. And the IO will try to keep him alive a little bit longer, but not sure if it's going to be quite enough as they just melt. We lose 3 over on the side of Gladiators. And, oh, God. It is just a Boom now alive. The Doom is back up. They're just going to chase down this Ember, and it's going to be a team wipe. And the Roche is
Roshan
there.
for Entity as well.
Yeah, for the taking.
All right, just to be clear though, unfortunately for Gladiators, even if they did poke their heads in and saw Roshan as it respawned, there was already Entity vision outside the pit. So Entity would have been well aware, probably thrown down some spells to prevent it and to draw out longer. But you see the nature of Gladiators. They know they're behind. They know they need to try and get something on their side. So they check Roshan. It's not there. We have to get a kill. They have to get something because they need to be able to, ideally, have numbers advantage for this Roshan. It doesn't work out for them. They fall victim to Entity being ready to running it back down mid once again. And yeah, just nature of play, it's very volatile. And Entity, they're well aware of it. They're ready for it. And they now get the Aegis once again. Very hard for Gladiators to take these fights into all the BKBs that Entity have. There's so much pressure on like Tofu being in the best position to get the clutch swap or the black hole cancel. It's a very difficult game with the lineup that Gladiators have after not kind of propelling their laning phase into aggressively sieging or occupying the kind of the mid game.
It feels like we're consistently seeing Pure on these heroes that are able to and it's not even that he's like sitting too far back, but like they just can't seem to either get enough damage out to kill him, or they can't get their hands on him because he's running around too quickly. He's got, the solutions with like a BKB or whatnot. That's proven to be a huge problem for them.
Yeah, he's done a very good job just finding the farm in this game. Look at the net worth, right? He
hasn't died once.
6-7k ahead. Yeah, hasn't died.
Now he's got a Shiva.
Just overall, it's just one of those games, right? Like in game 1, it's a sniper where he's getting ultra kills at minute 15, and in this game, you're getting 3 towers and Aegises galore with no smoke ever connecting on you. It's like the carry's dream.
Now they've got a BKB picked up for the Enigma, so it just becomes more and more difficult because you're so reliant on this Vengeful Spirit to be able to have a swap to cancel out the black hole if needed, or you have to save your Luna for some reason, because Io can only do so much. It just feels like there's a lot of pressure being placed on this lineup. Boom's doing the best that he can. You can see that Ace, he's struggled a bit during this game, especially during laning, and Duracho is just, having difficulty just dealing enough to deal with everything.
Yeah, the key thing for Gladiators might be Entity's reluctance to want to try and go high ground. With their heroes, with Aegis, sure, Lesh can go up there with an Edict and DK can poke it with an ultimate, but against Avenge with that big swap back to the tier 3s, or tier 4s, sorry, that alone could kind of deter Entity from wanting to go for a traditional siege. And this lead that Entity have, it might not feel as big. So that's why they're respecting it. That's why they're pushing around the map, trying to clear Gladiators back into their base. But this easily could stale out and become a very slow game as Entity just respect the potential high ground defense of Gladiators. And it's on Duracho right now on his Luna. If he can somehow like eke out the Satanic and then maybe after that, win a team fight, get a Skadi or something, that's when you're kind of going, oh, comeback potential. But I wouldn't rule out Gladiators right now. They still have a couple quirky plays to make, unless Luna just gets picked up here.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Trying to break the ankles. No, they see her. They see this Luna. She doesn't have anyone here to help her. Bumps the BKB. They even go for the Doom. Trying to go in there. Can they get out in time? No, they cannot. It was a valiant play from Celery, but it will be the death of the Io and the death of the Luna.
I mean, everything I just said was built around Duracho kind of sneaking around the map, covertly finding the farm. And unfortunately, Entity just was like, yeah, he's there. Kill him. Get him out. That's unfortunate.
Like taunting a little bit there with the courier. I'm gonna stun off, but yeah, he's just being allowed to wander around. Get the swap off Ace. It's just, Ace, save me, punish him. He still has the Aegis though. This is not looking that scary for him, honestly. Stormstormer does manage to find the Vengeful Spirit, so Tofu will be falling, and then he's gonna just pop that Aegis. Can they kill him a second time, though, is the question. It is kind of scary here. I'm not sure if they'll be able to, especially not with the rest of the team nearby. Fishman, of course, he's in position. If needed, he can heal Pure back up. Stormstormer, whoever he likes.
I think Gladiators are happy with that, though. Sure, they just lost their Luna in bot lane and kind of stalled out the farm, but they got rid of the Aegis. They were able to find a way to, sure, it was Leshrac being very aggressive, but the fact that you're able to kill off the Aegis, and now you force Entity to, if you want to come siege our base, you don't have the Aegis factor, you're going to have to wait 4 minutes, plus then the Roshan respawn time, so potentially, anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes here. That gives them a little bit of air, at least, but still very much Entity-favored game, 100%.
How much of that is the cockiness of youth sort of thing, where you're like, wow, we're doing so well, and then you just watch your core just run into the enemy base.
I mean, I feel like any player that plays on a creep wave / entity team will always have a bit of bravado on them. That is for sure. That is
that the Chrysalis effect?
Yes, the Chrysalis, the Amar, the Fishman, the legacy. Yes,
yeah.
The legacy that they've given. Yes, very much an interesting one. But it clearly works out because the players are getting picked up by other teams.
That's true. Maybe the the whole, not necessarily fake it till you make it, but the bravado, right, is, you know, if you believe in yourself, other people will believe in you. This is scary for Dyrachyo here. They can see it. They're leading forward, gets his arm off. The mech gets used, but they're trying to get the stuns. Are they going to be able to do it fast enough? Toby, though, going in. They'll be able to make sure that this Isle cannot do anything. Fishman taking a lot of damage over the back lines. He's not looking for Dyrachyo. He's going to be next to fall, as now Ace getting just chipped away by Kataomi. Tofu barely alive here. Gonna try to teleport out, but you know who's not gonna be able to is Boom, as they just walk right up, stun him in place, and put the pressure over on these towers. Now there still is, you know, that tier 2 in the bottom, but they'll turn their attention over to the mid lane. Stormstormer having that dragon form still up, trying to apply some of this damage to the towers. But Ace, you know, he is an Underlord. That's going to be a little bit easier for him to kind of clean up some of these waves here and push them away, at least for now.
Yeah, they found the perfect jump. The one time Gladiators, they poked their head outside a base. They're trying to, you know, 4-5 man farm the Ancient. They're underneath Entity Vision that unlocks them to get this perfect black hole.
Stormstormer, he's feeling aggressive. Fireball had the stun.
Why not?
Celery's nearby, though. He's going to try to keep him alive. He'll get the swap off from Tofu, doing his job. This is not looking good for Tofu, as he's going to be the sacrifice. And the pressure, again, placed over onto these racks. Ace a bit scared to approach. Can't blame him with the amount of blink and the stuns that they have, but looks like Entity will be happy with the tower half a racks. And they're going to back for now.
I just want to ideally wait for the black hole to be back up from Toby. He's going to have a refresher soon. Completely. Also 2 black holes you got to think about. Your Doom as well, nearly got refresher, but you see from the fight here, there is a ward at the very south of this fight, so they see literally everything. They initiate with the Blink Dagger on Leshrac, a beautiful black hole from the Enigma. At that point, the fight's over. They're just cleaning them up. So much AoE damage being thrown out. Gladiators, they can't position perfectly to take this fight, and they're gonna run away. That's what they'd be scared of. They ideally need to. Now that they lost mid-ranks, it gets even harder, but they have to hope for an initiation that doesn't go cleanly. You know, a DK stun, and then to a swap from the Venge, and then you maybe relocate out as well, and then their positioning allows for Gladiators to click them down and chase them. But when Entity are being so ruthless, where one Blink Dagger is instant kill into then the black hole on multiple heroes, that style of play, Gladiators can't play into. They're just not strong enough.
Got a lot of refreshers.
Just wait to see the smoke now. Yeah.
Coming out here, we got the refresher for the eating, but we also have refreshing Doom, though. Dyrachyo leading the charge. Toby getting into position here. Knows that he has to be careful, because if he... Yeah, all right, there it is. There's going to be the first one to fall. As now they'll follow up and put all of their damage onto this Luna. A good swap coming out again will protect Tofu. Getting left behind Dyrachyo, though, trying to find this opening. Does manage to land a Lucent Beam over to Kataomi, who's going to have to go and pop that BKB. As you can see now, the Leshrac getting onto the back lines. He's doing so much damage as he takes on Tofu. You lose Celery. Dyrachyo, he's left all alone. He doesn't have anyone to buff him at this point. So the Luna, he's going to die. The Fiend's Gate was up. They doomed the Underlord over here on the side. And they're looking for more. And it's looking like they'll get themselves an Underlord, and perhaps they'll get themselves a Boom, too. As he'll get himself a kill before trying to run away, but still, Leshrac hunting him on the hunt. Just gonna be able to break those ankles, though, as Leshrac not finding him. The teleports are out.
Yeah, unfortunately for Glad, there's no way to deal with this Leshrac who just blinks in. Even the DK, right? Like you have these double BKB blink heroes that once they jump into the middle of the fight, they're throwing fireballs or stuns. They've got, you know, Shivas and Pulse Nova. There's so much damage coming out that the Io and the Venge, they can't position accordingly to deal with it. And of course, we're talking about a 27k gold lead, right? But even when it was a 5k gold lead or a 10k gold lead and they had these blink daggers, it kind of had the same feeling where with this double support duo, unless you're the ones leading the charge, but your cores are the one in the lead, it's so difficult to defend a weaker core and then yourself on top of that. And that's where Entity, every single fight, they're just playing with so much confidence because they identified the fact that their only way that they die is by wasting their BKBs or to being like behind tier 4s at this point. So yeah, very much playing with confidence, playing with understanding of how they're winning the fights, and yeah, it's fun to watch. It's very aggressive.
This is a very dark map for the side of the Gladiators. They have pretty much no vision available. And there's a little bit of vision being placed out here by the side of Entity. Mostly a little bit defensive over there, but They do feel more confident, obviously, being able to move around the way that they are. And they do another smoke on the side of Gladiators. They're hoping that they can get something else. And Stormstormer is going to be pretty difficult. In fact, already he just blinks away, and there's quite a few people on the high ground. It feels like almost that they know this. So they'll drop the ward immediately, countered. They're looking to make this initiation. Again, the Shrek, he does so much. He just goes right in, over in the back, and two of them immediately just get obliterated. The Black Hole does indeed get used over onto the Luna Ace. It's not looking good. It's going to finally get the kill over onto Shrek, as they'll turn this right back around. They'll find Fishman. And now the chase is on another Black Hole though, coming out from Toby as he's dragging back over onto multiples. They'll be able to take down Boom. And they're looking to clean up now over on the Gladiators. Duracho to fall. Ace is next. And they'll clean up Tofu. That is a team wipe coming out from the side of Entity, and this is a Roche that is free for the taking yet again.
Yeah, Entity game, like, it's been 2 games, but game after game, they have been just perfectly positioned for these smokes. Like, I've said it already, but we've not yet seen a Gladiator smoke that has felt good. This is a very optimistic play. They're trying to run into the triangle inside the river, clumped up as 4, allows for a perfect Black Hole, clipping 3, Ember dodges it. Then you have the refresher, bam, hits another 3, but you got to give it to Gladiators. They're trying for these Hail Mary smokes, they're giving it a go, but Entity, they understand that the only way that they lose this game is this type of smoke, catching off a key hero and running down to get more, right? So they're in position, they take the fight, and yeah, it's so hard to fight this lineup. It's a really pleasant draft for Entity, and they played it pretty well.
It's looking very powerful. It's looking like this might even be the beginning of the end, especially if we lose Duracho here. Yeah, this is... All right, I hope it's a short trip home, but they're trying... Oh, he's not even going to be able to save him, is he? Oh, my word. That should not be allowed. Yeah, that's a tip. That is indeed a tip. The GGs get called. Entity, they're just playing such clean-looking Dota today. They're feeling good. They take down the Gladiators.
Yeah, this was a much, I'd say a much stronger performance from last year. I think, well, last tour, sorry, not last year. It's been so long since we've seen League Dota. But yeah, so since last tour, there was inconsistent